تم بفضل الله اقتحام البولندي 19 ابريل 2023 جروب ابو موسى العراقي.
Belarus, on the other hand, condemned the decision, summoning the Polish chargé d'affaires and calling the move an abuse of its geographical position, while accusing Warsaw of attempting to conceal its own actions.
You can't react over another man's geographical territory, their choice of action, and what they choose to do over their concern on protecting their borders. Of course, they are doing it to protect their citizens and also to enhance their national security. Let's watch this video together.
And now to Europe, where Poland has announced it will close its border with Belarus at midnight local time on Thursday due to large-scale Russian-Belarusian military exercises. Prime Minister Donald Tusk said the Zapad 2025 drills beginning Friday will take place in western Russia and Belarus and involve tens of thousands of troops. Described by Polish Prime Minister as very aggressive from a military doctrine perspective, the exercises are set near the Polish border, raising concerns among NATO allies, including Lithuania and Latvia.
On Friday, Russian Belarusian exercises, very aggressive from a military doctrine perspective, begin in Belarus, very close to the Polish border. This has various consequences, including exercises on our side, the Polish military and allied forces in response. But clearly, these types of exercises are aggressive on the Russian-Belarusian side.
Poland's Interior Minister confirmed that the closure, including railway crossings, will remain so until authorities are confident there are no threats to Polish citizens. Belarus, on the other hand, condemned the decision, summoning the Polish chargé d'affaires and calling the move an abuse of its geographical position, while accusing Warsaw of attempting to conceal its own actions. Now, Poland's border closure follows growing tensions between Warsaw and Minsk, which worsened after Russia invaded Ukraine back in 2022. Most crossings between Poland and Belarus have already been shut, leaving only 2 operational. In fact, last Thursday, Belarus reported the arrest of a Polish national on suspicion of espionage linked to Zapad 2025. And Poland, in turn, arrested a Belarusian spy and expelled a diplomat for supporting Belarusian actions against the country, citing cooperation with the Czech Republic and Romania. However, the situation between the nations escalated on Wednesday when more than a dozen Russian drones violated Polish airspace during an attack on Ukraine. Poland's Prime Minister Tusk said those projectiles which posed a threat were shot down, marking the first direct involvement of a NATO member in the conflict. One drone struck a residential building in eastern Poland, causing roof damage but no injuries, while debris was also reported in the eastern towns of the Lublin region.
At 6:45 a.m., I received a phone call from one of the office workers saying something had fallen. A drone or missile definitely hit the roof. We don't know at this point. The police are providing security, and we have a crisis management team on site.
Prime Minister Tusk confirmed the drones came from Russia and described the incident as a large-scale provocation. In fact, the Polish president also vowed to call for a Security Council meeting within 48 hours.
Last night, Polish airspace was violated by a large number of Russian drones. The drones that pose a direct threat were shot down.
Te drony, które stanowiły bezpośrednie zagrożenie, zostały zestrzelone.
The news that we will have full information about what happened in Poland within 48 hours led me to the decision to convene the National Security Council within 48 hours. We must now have full information to be able to respond appropriately to the situation.
It's quite interesting that the authorities in Warsaw are actually doing what they have to do without fear of intimidation by the Putin-led government in Russia with its allies like Belarus. No one will condone such of a country who is a rival to your country to fly a drone across your airspace without an official permission. And by every necessary measures, such drone has to be brought down to protect the integrity of your territory without fear or intimidation. what the government is actually doing is what every right-thinking authority, government in any country should do. No man should intimidate the leadership of your country, most especially when you are at the helm of affairs, just like what the Prime Minister and the President are trying to do at every point where they face any form of an attack, external aggression by a neighboring country like Belarus or this other allied, the Belarus allies, the Russian-led government, the Russian government led by Vladimir Putin. So these measures are to make sure that the sovereignty of their country is protected militarily and otherwise.
Now, Belarus, on the other hand, said that it had shot down some drones which went astray due to electronic jamming during an exchange of strikes between Russia and Ukraine, and that Minsk had informed Poland and Lithuania of the approach of the drones.
During the overnight exchange of drone strikes between the Russian Federation and Ukraine, the duty air defense forces of the Republic of Belarus on duty continuously tracked drones that had lost their track as a result of the impact of the party's electronic warfare assets. Some of the drones who lost their track were destroyed by our country's air defense forces over the territory of the Republic.
Now, Ukrainian EU officials and French officials have condemned the incursions, with Ukraine calling the episode an extremely dangerous precedent for Europe, and the EU urging stronger eastern border protection measures. Even the Netherlands confirmed its support for Poland and said that it stands shoulder to shoulder with Poland.
But we have all seen what Russia means by diplomacy. Putin refuses to meet President Zelensky. And just today we have seen a reckless and unprecedented violation of Poland and Europe's airspace by more than 10 Russian Shahid drones. Europe stands in full solidarity with Poland.
The military exercise is running from September 12th to the 16th, target strategic areas near NATO borders, including a 70-kilometer corridor separating Belarus from Russia. And Russian and Belarusian forces will practice maneuvers involving nuclear-capable missiles, drawing close attention from NATO. So as Europe braces for these exercises, tensions on the eastern frontier remain high, leaving the continent on edge over what could potentially come next.
With all what we have seen so far, the action of the authorities in Poland to make sure that their borders, their sovereignty is protected by all means, by taking the necessary steps in closing their borders along the Belarus border with Poland. Even though the authorities in Belarus are condemning these acts, which they are not, they are refusing to see that it is a fundamental right of the government to protect its borders against external aggression. But in this case, they feel that the authorities in Poland are doing it to tamper with the geographical settings of that area. If they feel so, so be it. But the fact is, the authorities in Poland are only doing what they have to do to make sure that their borders are secured against external attack, and not just the external aggression, but also against illegal migration from potential terrorists, from having access to destabilize the peace being enjoyed in Poland. From the look of things, you will see very clearly that the authorities in Warsaw is one authority within the European Union that are taking the peaceful habitation of their country by their citizens seriously, without fear or intimidation by any rival country around them. These are our take on this video, and we would love to know what your thoughts are in the comment section. See you in our next video.